words help win the war on terror. Welcome to Army Newswatch. I'm Jeannie Ryan.
And I'm Sergeant Mike O'Brien. Plus, we'll also take a look at the latest field ration. But first, here's a look at what's going on around the Army.
A 7th Special Forces Group airborne soldier received the Army's second highest award for combat valor. Master Sergeant Brandon O'Connor was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for his actions during an encounter with a large number of enemy forces in Afghanistan. Back in June 2006, the Green Beret and his team engaged Taliban fighters for 2 days and 2 nights in a small village about 12 miles outside of Kandahar. At one point during the battle, Sergeant O'Connor crawled 90 yards across an open field to rescue 2 of his wounded men.
It was the situation I was faced with, and I did what I thought I had to do.
Senior leadership has called for an Army-wide barracks inspection. This comes after an online video surfaced on YouTube depicting subpar living conditions at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. A tour of the barracks at Fort Myer, Virginia showed they're in good shape. Fort Myer is one of many posts around the country constructing new barracks. The latest one is scheduled to open this summer and can house 210 soldiers.
I think they'll be surprised as to what the new barracks look like. They're a brand new standard. They have good lighting. They have brand new appliances. The rooms are being built with nice closets that are rearranged so it doesn't waste any space. You can fit everything that you have inside of there.
Fort Myer hopes to build 3 more barracks complexes. Construction on the next building is set for next year.
The lovable monsters of Sesame Street are going through some tough and confusing times, just like nearly 700,000 preschool-age military kids.
And look, that Daddy's home. Elmo and Daddy can do lots of things together.
We sure can, son. There's nothing I like better.
A new Talk, Listen, Connect DVD helps families communicate better and understand the difficulties of multiple deployments, homecomings, and changes related to injuries. In the video, Elmo's dad has just come home, and he and Elmo have to readjust to being together. Before they learn, he has to go away again.
It's official. I have to go away again soon.
For more information, check out sesameworkshop.org/TLC.
Getting mental health counseling after serving in Iraq or Afghanistan won't hurt your career. The Defense Department has changed Question 21 on its security clearance forms. The question asks the applicant whether they've received mental health care in the last 7 years. Officials say surveys show troops feel they would jeopardize their security clearance if they answered yes.
It now is clear to people who answer that question that they can answer no if they have sought help to deal with their combat stress in general terms.
Army officials say the change is part of the effort to remove the stigma of seeking mental health care.
We've been trying to reduce stigma in a number of ways for some time, both with education and easier access to care. But this is a very concrete example of a policy change. We're going to take away this barrier. We're going to allow people to not have to say yes to the security clearance question.
The women of the Golden Knights made history by landing on the back of a bass boat. 4 women of the all-female parachute competition team nailed each of their landings on the 2x5-foot targets at the Warriors on the Water bass tournament. To prep for the demo on Jordan Lake, North Carolina, the women practiced landing on a small boat set up near their Laurenburg drop zone. The Golden Knights say this was the first time this kind of a demo has ever taken place, especially with the women's team.
Well, it's time to give a big Army hooah to the stations that bring Army Newswatch into your home, and especially to Whitewater Station 13 in Wisconsin.
And Cat TV 2 in Erie, Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching.
Don't go away. It's the latest in Army field rations. We'll check out First Strike.
And Tony Schumacher speeds on to Fort Benning. We'll tell you why. Stick around. We'll be right back.
These things we count on every day started as ideas. Ideas from the minds of African Americans. Support minority education today so we don't miss out on the next big idea tomorrow. The United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
I was throwing rocks at some stuff, and next thing I know, locusts.
Sounds like bad karma. You should try volunteering or something good.
Stay on the universe's good side. Volunteer, vote, get involved.
Welcome back. Being in a foreign land fighting the war on terror is tough, especially when you can't communicate. The Defense Language Institute says soldiers need to equip themselves with one more weapon to win the war: words.
When on Iraqi soil, speak as the Iraqis speak. Breaking the language barrier helps the mission.
Really paid off a lot. People remember us. They remember the specific soldiers that came up and talked to them.
Back on home turf, Dr. K drills his students in the Arabic Iraqi dialect. The Usted, or professor, hopes to connect soldiers and his countrymen through words.
We are helping our troops to simplify or to make their mission over there so easy. When?
Dr. K is part of the Defense Language Institute's mobile training team. Despite fears for his own safety, the Iraqi refugee travels from installation to installation to help open the lines of communication with his fellow Iraqis.
Most of them, they are very friendly, they are very helpful, they are very, they want to work with the United States.
Dr. K teaches his students military vocabulary and basic phrases. He also talks about Iraqi culture and customs, so troops get a well-rounded picture of the people they protect.
Knowing how to properly show respect, say hello, and within the culture that you're in, what to do, what not to do, the basics at a minimum should be a requirement.
Major Glenn Keith, who will head to Iraq for the first time soon, pays very close attention to Dr. K's lessons.
Just to show some effort and to be able to communicate with them gives you an insight, it gives you an edge, it gives you some credibility in front of the people.
Learning a new language is hard, but Dr. K hopes a few words in their arsenal will help these soldiers and Marines secure the peace in Iraq.
For the past 4 years, the Corps of Engineers has been upgrading a wide range of Iraqi infrastructure. Kevin Casey has more on a water project that impacts Camp Victory's population as well as local farmers.
45,000 people live and work at Victory Base Complex in Baghdad. That's a lot of latrines to empty. By the end of 2008, the wastewater will be trucked here, to Victory's new treatment plant. This job has a big impact outside the wire as well. The Iraqi contractor employs as many as 35 workers a day here.
It supports the economy in the neighborhood. Many families earn their living from this project.
The new wastewater treatment plant is also going to benefit Iraqi farmers and others who draw water from the network of canals surrounding Victory Base Complex.
It's going to be producing 2 million gallons per day of clean water that's going to go back out to the local Iraqi communities.
And that water will be significantly cleaner than what's in the Tigris or in that canal today.
In Iraq, our water is very contaminated, so we are happy to do projects turning wastewater into water that can be used for human and agricultural purposes.
That's a lot of bang for a wastewater treatment plant that costs less than $3 million. In Baghdad, I'm Kevin Casey.
The threats and challenges that face Afghans and Iraqis affect every coalition country working in the Central Command area of operations. Gail McCabe has more on a multinational military gathering that emphasizes cooperation and constructive conversation.
An assessment is made of your forces.
The goal of the Land Forces Symposium is to create an environment where Army leaders from Kazakhstan to Kenya are encouraged to talk.
What you have is that you have issues that transcend them all, but they're addressing them differently.
Hosted by U.S. Army Central Command and co-sponsored by the U.S. Army, LFS is constructed around senior Army leaders where their differences and similarities are crucial components.
And so to discuss with them the challenges that they're facing and hearing not only different challenges, but different solutions to the problems.
As military leaders, they are sworn to protect their lands and its citizens. Here in this venue, they also share the quest of adapting their forces to 21st century security challenges.
Among the many subjects being discussed during this week-long event is terrorism and how to defeat it.
But if we do not interact, we will not be able to know how they operate, what makes them tick, and then counter.
No single country.
Insights on the issues were addressed by recognized experts in the region. Keynote speaker, retired General John Abizaid, made it clear today's global threats need to be addressed collectively.
No nation, not even the great United States of America, with all of our tremendous power, is capable of dealing with the problems of the 21st century alone. The more we can do things together, the better off we'll be.
This is the third annual Land Forces Symposium, and with a registration of more than 300, it's the largest turnout to date. A reflection, according to participants, for the need of gatherings where they can talk. Gail McCabe, Atlanta.
When you're deployed, what's better than 3 MREs? How about one for the whole day? The new First Strike ration is just what the warfighter ordered. A new ration, compact, eat on the move, is well on its way to warfighter hands.
When the First Strike ration is meant for highly mobile, highly intense operations, it's considered an assault ration. And it's for those scenarios where warfighters are going on 2 to 3 day missions without any chance of resupply.
This is what a grunt used to have to take for a day in the field. Now with the new First Strike ration, this is all they need. First Sergeant Pitts is here to tell us more. First Sergeant?
You're absolutely right, Sergeant. What we used to do when I received the meals was cut them open, take those items out that I wanted to eat or had time to eat, and throw away the rest. The new First Strike ration is designed with those options in mind.
As the Army transforms to become a lighter, more mobile force, the First Strike will assist by lightening the load our warfighters carry.
It's good.
The Army is already fielding the new First Strike ration, and it's getting rave reviews. We've got one right here. Our medical editor, Dr. Paul Little, joins us. Doc, you know, my favorite has to be the chicken breast. What about you?
You know, Mike, we tried all these on the plane coming back from Natick,
sure did.
and all of them are really super. But the thing I like best is the Zapple sauce. You know, it's just like the astronauts. You just rip off the top, pour it down the hatch. But the most amazing thing to me, Mike, is the fact that they were able to get this much nutrition into one small package. Let's take a look.
On the front lines means always on the move. Fit troops in hot weather need about 24 calories per pound every day to meet energy needs. That's 3,600 calories per day for an average 165-pound soldier. And that's what 3 current MREs provide. But the newest version of the First Strike ration gives you 3,100 calories in one pack. That's energy derived mainly from carbohydrates, fat, and protein.
Every component in there is 100% eat on the move, which means they can put it in the pocket, they can take it out, and they can tear it, and they can eat it. There's no food preparation. Everything is packaged to fit into small spaces.
And they've also invented neat ways to give you extra energy. The Zapple sauce I like so much, and the Ergo drinks are loaded with maltodextrin, which increases endurance by conserving the glycogen stored in your liver and muscles. Even the gum is loaded.
The caffeinated gum is something that we had worked with Wrigley's. I know that a lot of warfighters would take the freeze-dried coffee and stick it between their cheek and gum to stay awake at night, and this is a much better option for them.
All in all, the Army's new First Strike ration is just what the warfighter ordered.
Still to come, wounded warriors hit the woods.
And going for the green, we'll find out if more high school grads are signing up for those bonuses.
More of the stories that make America's Army are up next.
What is your problem, man?
You're welcome.
What the heck is wrong with you?
What do you mean?
Don't give me that. All right. What's going on here, fellas?
The missile was about to hit the school.
I just acted as fast as I could.
That doesn't change the fact that I don't have a car anymore. Who just throws a person's car at a missile?
You're serious?
Yeah. Who's going to pay for my car?
I guess I could.
Do you even have a real job?
Yes.
Do you have insurance?
I saw the whole thing. Call me.
These kids almost had a new community center. A contractor almost volunteered to build it. A carpenter almost worked on the crew. And everyone else almost gave at the fundraiser. They almost gave. Almost. And these kids? Well, they almost stayed out of trouble.
Just having this on your driver's license doesn't make you an organ donor. Telling your family does. Make sure they know your wishes or it won't happen. Talk to your family about donating life.
Okay, girls, at 3 o'clock.
What is he looking at?
Oh, so obvious. Captain Obvious has scored again. Open your window. Say something.
Oh, he's really gonna down.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Welcome back. Army top fuel driver Tony the Sarge Schumacher made a pit stop at Fort Benning, Georgia to talk to the troops before they headed downrange. Specialist Earl Scott has that story.
The Sarge visited deploying soldiers of the 63rd Engineer Company who are headed to a place far away from the dragway.
I've been to Iraq and I've been to Afghanistan, and it's nice to go over there and I guess say thanks, but to be able to come here before they leave and meet them before they ship off, that's a very difficult job. They're leaving their families, they're leaving their loved ones and their friends, you know, and they're going to do a job which is one of the most difficult jobs in the world.
The Sarge said that it's a privilege to break bread with the soldiers, and it's good to hear their stories on and off the field.
As growing up as a child, he was an idol to me. I grew up watching him on TV.
His visit will be one soldiers won't forget. One soldier in particular will be reminded when trouble hit at home.
I called my wife and I was like, this is the second best day to our marriage ever. Okay. She's kind of mad at me.
While driving toward his goal to achieving his 5th straight NHRA World Championship, Tony stopped by the Army Marksmanship Unit. This goal is in honor of the 100th anniversary of the Army Reserve.
There's the Budweiser car, and he gets free beer, and there's the Matco Tools guy, and he gets free tools, and I get to jump out of planes and shoot weapons with the Rangers, man. Are you kidding me? But, you know, this is the best thing in the world.
Specialist Scott,
he's a dart gun.
Fort Benning, Georgia.
He was Air Force, and I used to carry actual weapons.
The Army has met recruiting goals so far this year. High school students looking to enlist are cashing in on the bonuses to wear the green uniform. But as Michelle Michael reports, a lot of the grads aren't making the grade.
Keep pushing, Michael!
4 minutes right now, 4 minutes, halfway done.
There's plenty of time to decide.
I'm seriously considering joining the military.
Andrew Williams-Rada is only in the 10th grade.
Last lap.
So is Dimitri Brown.
Bring yourself all the way back down and all the way up.
Both sophomores say they want to join the Army and take advantage of the Future Soldier Training Program, $1,000 a month until they graduate high school.
It would probably sway me to join, I'd say.
Plus potential enlistment bonuses as much as $20,000.
It's $20,000 more than what I have now.
But here's the problem. For every 10 high schoolers who want to join the Army, only 2 are actually qualified.
It's gotten harder to actually join any branch of the military.
Sergeant First Class Michael Alden is an Army recruiter.
The desire to enlist is at its lowest point in 2 decades.
Since Vietnam, the U.S. military has been an all-volunteer force. Now, 2 wars are causing concern among graduates looking to go green, like Alexandra Alexander.
Going to Iraq and serving don't really scare me. It's just like what they keep saying if I don't come back scares me.
Recruiting is slightly tough due to the fact that we're in a protracted war.
In high schools across the country, students count down the days until they graduate. Recruiters count up those who want to join hoping it adds up to enough. Michelle Michael Mannheim, Germany.
The Army's Wounded Warrior program helps thousands of soldiers and their families cope with issues following combat injuries. James Williams tells the story of how one wounded warrior has returned to the field, thanks in part to the Army's Environmental Division.
Sergeant Eric Sundell is getting a second chance. If you ask him, this 14-year veteran shouldn't be alive.
I should have died that day.
Sundell was on foot patrol near Ramadi, Iraq nearly 2 years ago when he was shot in the leg. The bullet severed a major artery. His sergeant major and battalion commander held the wound for nearly 90 minutes until he reached a hospital. Sundell has spent 21 months at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, rehabilitating his body. This turkey hunt, just 2 hours north, rehabilitates his soul.
It gives the soldiers ability to take a weekend away from Walter Reed, to come out here to clear their minds. It gets them a way to relax, unwind, de-stress, and that's what they need. How about a little push?
All right. Yeah, getting there.
The Wounded Warrior program provides personal assistance to soldiers during their treatment, rehabilitation, and transition back to Army or civilian life. Letterkenny Army Depot has offered up 16,000 acres of prime hunting ground to wounded warriors like Sundell as a way to help them feel normal again.
It gives us a great opportunity just to give back to those guys who were basically fighting for our freedom, and it's the least we could do.
This turkey hunt is possible because of the teamwork among the Wounded Warriors program, Letterkenny, and the National Wild Turkey Federation.
I would hope that it gives him some insight that, hey, life can be close to normal as it was before.
Sundell's leg injury prevents him from returning to the infantry, so he's joining the intelligence field. He says he wants to continue to serve his country for at least 6 more years.
So I'm doing everything that I've always wanted to do, just never got around to do it. I'm doing it because you never know. You might not get another chance.
James Williams.
We're out doing our morning PT.
Chambersburg, Pennsylvania.
Coming up, tradition, history, and pageantry. The Old Guard kicks off the Twilight tattoo season.
We'll be right back.
This is fine. Thanks.
I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
On June 4th, my big brother was sentenced to 7 years in prison for a gun crime. That day, he sentenced me to 7 years without my best friend.
When you commit a gun crime, your family pays the price.
Welcome back. The tradition of the military tattoo dates back to the early 17th century. The annual Twilight tattoo traces our nation's history through the eyes of the American soldier. We caught up with the Old Guard, the Fife and Drum Corps, and the drill team as they practiced for the performance that brings the Army to the American people.
It came from a saying of tap to that's hundreds of years old. That got changed over time into tattoo. There's actually a bugle call that's tattoo, and it sounded late in the evening on Army installations. What you see here, the twilight tattoo, has its history in that kind of review late in the day.
In historic revolutionary times, you would want to be able to see your musician. There's a lot of smoke on the battlefield, people running around screaming. The commander needs to see the musician. If you notice, if you look around, red is a color that stands out. So the musician wearing the red, the commander can see him and say, hey, play ceasefire. And then the soldiers on the field can obviously hear the fife is quite loud, battlefield instrument, and the drum, all kinds of signals for us.
Our most difficult maneuver we do is called throws and catches, and it's when the front rank throws the weapon 15 feet in the air, does 2 revolutions, and the back rank catches it, and it goes in between the second and third rank, goes over the two ranks, so it's pretty dangerous.
When the audience gets pumped up, it pumps us up, and we usually perform better when the audience is making some noise.
It's a great opportunity to meet in person soldiers in America's Army. We don't get the opportunity to do that every day, so giving them an opportunity to come here on the ground, talk to soldiers, find out what they do day to day. It is an interesting performance, and quite frankly, this is the only place that many people have the opportunity to see the U.S. Army Band, the Fife and Drum Corps, the U.S. Army Drill Team.
The summer performances at Fort McNair run every Wednesday through July, and they're free. So this is a great stop to add to your trip to Washington, D.C. if you're visiting the area.
It certainly is, and it's a beautiful setting for it, Jeannie. That does it for this edition of Army Newswatch.
Join us again next time for the stories that make America's Army.